Hey guys, BuildZoid here, and today I'm going to show you why there won't be a stream this Saturday. Because, well, this right here is the ASRock X370 Taichi BIOS. Physically, the board is very, very nice, but this is ridiculous. So here we are in the OC Tweaker menu. So here you have all your overclocking settings. So you have CPU frequency, which you can put to manual, and then you get, so we can go like 3500. 1.4, which incidentally, this is not actually CPU frequency, this is CPU ratio, but you know, that would be too difficult to do, and I'll show you why it's not CPU frequency, it is ratio, it's freaking ratio. So that I have a problem with. It's just, it's not a huge issue for me, but it is just like a lot of people will be, like, I feel like a lot of people who are, let's say, slower to notice some of the finer details of the garbage some BIOS designers do will find this absolutely freaking astounding. But anyway, so 3600. Here we can load up XMP. Sets all my timings, all very well and good. These are all the timings you have accessible on Ryzen as of right now, which is why there's such massive RAM compatibility issues, because you can't change all the sub timings. You can actually technically change the subtimings by using the different memory dividers, because Ryzen uses a strap system similar to like AMD GPU BIOS, where you have like a 1750 strap and then like a 2000 strap and a 1500 strap and a 300 strap. You get the idea. So there's like preset timings for every frequency, but it causes issues because like the preset for 3200 megahertz doesn't work on a lot of things, and yeah, but, you know, BIOS updates are slowly getting that working steadily. It's getting better over time now. Then down here we find the voltage settings finally. You can put it into OC mode, which basically the difference is stable mode is limited to, put that into fixed 1.6, right? Can't go above that. I can go down, can't go above. Go back to the OC tweaker. If I put it into OC mode, I can go above that all the way up to 2.5, which is plenty even for liquid nitrogen. So that's all very well and good. Let's put it back down to 1.35. Stable mode. Like, this is actually nice. Like, this stops beginners from accidentally frying their CPU by, you know, missing the number 1 key and hitting the 2 key and then pressing apply. VDDR SOC, so that's the SoC voltage, so memory controller and the other stuff, so 1.05 or something. We can actually do like 1.1. You don't want to set this one above 1.2. That's not safe for long-term usage. VDDR SOC, you get your load line calibrations right here. I still need to test how stable those actually are. I really doubt that level 1 is as flat as it says it's going to be. And here we don't even get a load line graph. CPU over voltage protection, over current protection, you'll disable that if you want to push as like unlimited power, basically. This would be unlimited voltage. There. DRAM voltage, so RAM voltage, that's the usual. VPPM is the VPP for the memory. Don't really need to mess with that. 2.5 volts PROM. I have no idea what that right now is. I suspect it might be something to do with the BIOS system. VTT DDR. This is the termination voltage for your RAM. It should always be half DRAM voltage. Some memory sticks, when pushing very, very high VDDR, so very high DRAM voltage, you'll actually want lower VTT than half. So for like 2 volts, which, can this actually go to 2 volts? Oh, it can't. That's fun. But on like KB Lake, when you run 2 volts through BDI, you want to drop the VTT to like 0.95, not 1 volt, because otherwise it's not stable. Put that back to auto, because on auto it actually automatically sets itself to half DRAM voltage. That's all very well and good, isn't it? Let's put this down to 1.35, because we're just loading up XMP, which this is 3733 rated memory, and it's only loading up 3200. We get plus 1.8 volts. I think that's an internal voltage for the CPU's PLL. VDDP, I have no idea right now what that is. I need to do more research on that. 1.05 PROM voltage, I'm going to assume is some more BIOS SoC stuff. Again, I haven't figured, like, I haven't gone through all the different voltages and what they apply to yet. Yeah, and down here you get all your nice user profiles. So this is all very well and good, but here's the reason why there's not going to be stream on Saturday, okay? See that? That's the overclock mode. If we put this into manual, we get APU PCIe frequency. That's all very nice. And here's the one minor issue I have with this BIOS. Oh, look, it just wiped my CPU frequency settings and voltage settings, and it wiped my memory ratio and all of my memory timings and my CPU voltage. Why? Why on earth does the BIOS do this? Why? Who thought this is a good idea? This is so incredibly stupid. I can't believe somebody somebody wrote this and thought, yes, this is what users expect to happen when they change the BCLK. They expect all of their settings to just disappear. Like, how are you supposed to incrementally test things with this? This is going to be infuriating. It's like, I'm trying to hit, it's like I'm trying to go over 3200 megahertz, and so you don't want to do big frequency jumps. You want to take it easy. You want to take it slow. You want to take it like, say 50 megahertz on the memory at a time, which translates to BCLK jumps with like a 32x multiplier. That's 2 megahertz BCLK jumps. So every time you increase the BCLK by 2, you're gonna have to redo all of your freaking what? Why? Why is this a thing? Oh, and it gets better. Look, if you go all the way above 1.105, it defaults your CPU clock stupid low. Why? Why does it do this? Who thought this is a good idea? Why would anybody want a BIOS that does this? Ugh. I should have gone and bought a gigabyte board. Incidentally, the really old BIOS, which wouldn't actually post XMP with my memory, and by XMP I mean 3200, if I look, XMP, luckily, it's like, what if I had custom timings in there? What if I like 14 loaded in, and then 14, and the thing is, you need to double tap the freaking, double tap, yeah. You can't just click once to move on to the next number. No, you have to click twice. That's really me nitpicking, but I'm just so used to BIOSes that, don't do that. It's annoying. It's really annoying. Anyway. It's like, and then, yeah, okay, we can leave that at 1.35. Also, the other thing is, the incredibly intelligent BIOS we have here can't do basic math. So this is not CPU frequency. This is CPU ratio. So now we're set at 35x. So right now stock is 3 gigahertz. So we're at 35x. So 35 times 105, and I think this might post. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it will, but let's try. I don't like running things incredibly slow, even if I'm just trying to prove a point. It's just a thing. Hopefully this will post. It probably won't, but we'll see. Oh, it looks like it might actually made it. Usually the board just hangs on an F9 code, which I think it might be specific to my memory sticks or something like that. Oh, look, see? CPU frequency is not 3500 as you would be led to believe by this here CPU frequency field. Also, here's another funny thing. So I've just dialed in all my settings. I've saved them. I restarted. Do you think that me raising the BCLK won't wipe them again? Well, if you do, you're wrong. It just wiped them all again. Why? This is so incredibly annoying. I'd rather have a conversation with my younger brother. Ugh. Like, this is just so obnoxious. And especially for me, it's like, I don't tend to keep track of like what I'm doing. Like, I tend to forget weird quirks on a lot of my boards. Right? So it's just like, for me, this is absolutely incredibly annoying because this is gonna like, I'm gonna, if I try to overclock with this board, there's gonna be at least more than one occasion where I'm gonna dial in some settings and I'm gonna be wondering why everything is running so slow, and it'll be because, like, I'll get all the way to Windows, I'll open CPU-Z, and the CPU will be at like 3 gigahertz, and I'll be like, oh right, I changed the BCLK. Why, thank you, ASRock, for making sure that my frequency was as low as it could frickin' go. Ugh. Like, I have no idea why they do that. Because the thing is, if you just set the frequency too damn high, it's just not going to post. That's it. Right? If I try to post that, it's just not going to post. Yeah, it just hangs on an F9 code. So, I really don't understand what the point of making the BCLK reset your memory settings, your voltages, your CPU voltage, and your CPU clock is. Like, why? Why is that necessary? What does it prevent me? Like, it's not a safety feature, because it doesn't do anything for safety. It just, like, ugh. It's annoying. It's really, really annoying, and just, I think I might be, like, really blowing this out of proportion, but I just, like, there's few things I hate more than having hardware that thinks it knows better than I do what I want it to do. Which is part of the reason why I avoid modern day NVIDIA cards like the plague. It's because of the stupid boost algorithm is like, oh, you know, I want the card to run at 1.5 gigahertz, and the boost algorithm is going to be like, oh no, we're going to run at 1.52. It's like, I don't want to run at 5.52. I want to run at 1.5, regardless of temperature, power consumption, or voltage level. Could you please do that? No, this is too difficult, sir. I know better what frickin' settings your card wants. Well, this motherboard thinks it's is equally, this is almost as bad. Except this is just wasting my time. Also, the BIOS doesn't have any kind of, like, fast recovery system. Basically, if you screw up your settings, you're gonna have to, if you screw up really badly, it'll get you back in the BIOS, like it just did right now. But if you screw up just outside of the bounds of stability, then you're going to have to wipe the BIOS, which is just incredibly annoying. And unlike Gigabyte or like say Asus on their, Asus have safe boot, which you can press and it'll always boot you at safe settings without wiping your BIOS settings. Gigabyte's dual BIOS thing remembers last known good, which most of the time will save you, but this doesn't have any of that. The board also doesn't have dual BIOS, and this is the latest BIOS for anybody wondering. Interestingly enough, the BIOS the board came with actually didn't have this issue, but it was, like, that BIOS didn't work on XMP settings at all, so, like, I couldn't post the settings I just posted. Like, we're at 3400 megahertz with 15, 15, 15, 36 timings. This wouldn't work on the BIOS I originally had on the board. So I am on the latest BIOS right now, and it's more stable and it clocks RAM better, but that's infuriating. That is incredibly infuriating. It's just every single freaking time. Actually, I should not... I can't remember how I had it set it up. Did I have XMP enabled? I'm not sure. See, that's the other issue. It wipes your settings, and I can't even remember what my freaking settings were. It's like you need a notebook in hand so that you can write down how you're doing everything in this BIOS, because it's going to wipe all your settings every time you try to tweak the BCLK, which if you're trying to get a high memory overclock, you're going to be doing that a lot. So, you know, if ASRock could kindly go and make a BIOS that doesn't do this, then I'd be ever so grateful to them, because, like, oops, knocked over the mic, sorry about that. Because, like, on a physical side of things, I really like the board. It's really nice physically. I just don't like using the BIOS on this board, which is actually the same complaint I've had about basically, well, a few other ASRock boards I've worked with. So, because they did similarly stupid things, like one of them would default your Northbridge voltage to 1.4 volts as soon as you set the memory clock to 2400. which on FM2 APUs is a great way to lose your Northbridge, especially if you have Extreme LLC enabled like I did, because I had the Northbridge manually set to 1.2, and I had Extreme LLC, so it was running about 1.3 volts when under load. Then I went and set the memory to 2400. It changed my Northbridge voltage from 1.2 to 1.4, but it didn't bother to disable my LLC settings, so the Northbridge was very quickly turned into toast. So I find any BIOS that changes setting, like I change one setting and it changes a bunch of other settings, I just find this incredibly annoying and frustrating. It's just like, don't do this. Absolutely don't do this in your BIOS ever. Because this is just, no. So, yeah. That's that for this video. Well, you know, this is why there won't be a live stream this Saturday on Ryzen, because I just can't live with this BIOS. This is so annoying to deal with. Like, either in the next few hours, I'll, like, in the next 3 days, I'll just get used to having to deal with this, and I'll decide that, oh, it's not such a massive waste of time, or I'll just probably chuck the board through the window or something. Not literally. That's I'm exaggerating. I wouldn't literally chuck a board through a window. You know. But, yeah, like, this is just so stupid. And then when you go below 104, and it's just, like, I have no idea how they came up with this. This is just such a stupid way of doing things. Okay, well, I think at this point everybody gets the idea. I hate how this BIOS works. There's not really much else to this. So, yeah. Thanks for listening to my little rant here. I don't expect anybody to actually like the rant, because honestly, it's quite petty. But, you know, it's like I spent 210 quid on this motherboard. It's not a free sample, and it's doing this. And even if they sent me a free sample of this board, I would find this absolutely infuriating. So, yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.